We need to totally ban single-use plastic bags in this country, and these other plastics, we need to seriously regulate them.
Plastic trash has become one of the most pressing environmental issues globally, and Zambia has not been spared, which has prompted efforts to write a global treaty negotiated by the United Nations. This problem is mainly due to rapid increasing and uncontrolled production of disposable plastic products, which are overwhelming Zambia's ability to deal with them, especially after life. Plastic bags have been a hazard to the environment as they result in the death of animals, clogging of drains, which consequently leads to floods and the destruction of property. Lusaka generates about 1 million tons of waste annually, 2,700 tons per day, but only half of this is taken to the designated dump site. To respond to the plastic problem, the Zambia Environmental Management Agency, ZEMA, enacted the Extended Producer Responsibility (EPR) regulation with the aim of minimizing waste. However, plastic is littered everywhere you look. Chain stores and industry players are among those benefiting from plastic as they sell biodegradable plastics, but where it ends up, it is none of their business but that of the local authorities. According to data obtained from one of the chain stores, ShopRite, from July 2020 to June 2021, it sold 23.1 million 12, 24 and 38 liters of plastic bags, including 479,000 of 24 liters of woven bags. This is a huge quantity of plastic bags when computed together with other sector players. According to ShopRite, they initiated a recycling plant in Chulundu district with a local waste management contractor where they supplied a free container and they put about 50 tons of plastics, but the contractor shut his business. But now their plastic waste continues to flood the streets. While the chain stores migrated to biodegradable plastic carrier bags, in other sections, plastic below 30 microns is still being utilized, and on the other side, most companies in Lusaka continue to produce plastic with impunity, and an investigation that was done by a local journalist, Prudence Yavana, observed that producers whose identity was withheld explained that plastic below 30 micron is cheaper to produce and is more lucrative.
The truth of the matter is that the thinner material, it sells more. It may not be applicable to us here, but the general in the market, the thinner the material, the quicker it sells off.
Okay.
And maybe the useless it is because it won't be used one time. It cannot be recycled. We don't, with us, it will end on the customer. We make it here, we follow it to the customer. But you know why we would follow it to the customer? We want more orders. But how it moves from there to the other side, we really don't. We don't follow it. Because I'm sure it ends there. We will follow to the customer because we want more orders to be able to sell more.
And our assessment revealed that most shops in compounds have never switched from plastic below 30 microns. Undeniably, plastic have been a beneficial convenience as they transformed the modern age to the extent that life without most plastics would be difficult. It has revolutionized medicine with life-saving devices, made cars and planes to be lightened, and saving fuel and subsequently reducing pollution. Some vendors who operate from the central business district of Lusaka earn a livelihood through selling plastics, most of which are below 30 microns, as if the EPR law never existed.
At wholesale price, we buy at 30 kwacha per pack containing 500 plastic carrier bags, while we sell them at 1 kwacha for 5 plastic bags. The profit is 20 kwacha.
The Zambian Breweries has laid a foundation for post-consumer waste management through the Manja Pamozi recycling initiative. But sustaining and growing this sector requires industry support to make it viable. Waste pickers have been playing a major role in plastic management, but they say the prices are exploitative.
In this business, the prices are too low.
looking at the amount of waste we pick, I think that is the main challenge we face.
The big bag sometimes weighs between 40 to 50 kilograms. They buy at 1 kwacha per kilogram for mineral water bottles, and PET costs 2 kwacha per kilogram, and plastic costs 1 kwacha 15 ngwe, and sack bag costs 2 kwacha per kilogram.
Memoli Mwanza is an aggregator under the Manja Pamozi project in Lusaka's garden compound with a success story, but the concern is the same.
So you have a manga challenge in terms of my prices. They have invented my facing can be Muntazabwa na clear PT. Iwogula 1 kwacha. Then abwana clear PT maybe avona shirt in vambili then bawinga 1 kg. But from pass 1 kwacha wana full like kwa mubera. So
1 kwacha ni per kg.
Per kg. So iyo ndiye challenge antimangala nayo. Because bakapostengera beka PT bamatigula muri 1 kwacha 20 ngwe. So you have mangala ni challenge about
Price is the main problem we continue to encounter. We buy clear PET at 1 kwacha per kilogram, and sometimes people feel we are stealing from them, and we sell it at 1 kwacha 20 ngwe to the processors. Hence, business is hard.
The only hope is that with the coming of the Waste Pickers Association, it will help bring sanity to the sector, as Center for Zero Waste and Development in Africa Chief Executive Officer Billy Lombe laments the need to organize the circular economy.
Pushes companies to do more in terms of their end products, life end product of their packaging that they manufacture. So it's so important that they take advantage of the opportunity for Zambia to have a roadmap for circular economy, because that provides in terms of other alternatives. There's what we call the issue of the creating green jobs and also the green economy. So these are critical issues and new opportunities that they can invest in, and also looking at alternative packaging, rather than plastic. There's so many other alternative packaging that can be introduced into the market.
Citizens' Environmental and Social Concern, CESco Executive Director Conwell Hagapia, calls for a robust extended producer responsibility EPR regulation by making it more punitive.
Even the term itself, when you just hear the word extended producer responsibility, even a layman would know that what you're trying to achieve is to extend the producer's responsibility from production through to disposal or recycling. But that is not the case, because we feel the SI itself is not very clear, and basically it's inadequate. What we need is a piece of legislation that is going to compel producers to be responsible for their products life cycle, from production through to disposal or recycling, or whatever the case that it is. We have this 30 microns rule that has been put from the word go when it was being implemented. We are on record as an organization. I said this is not going to work, because this partial ban of plastic will be very difficult for instance, for institutions like Zema to see to it that people are not producing plastic that are below 30 microns.
Zambian Breweries Corporate Affairs Manager Ezekiel Sekele says waste management cannot be addressed in isolation.
We are a company that produces products that have to be packaged somewhere, in a bottle or in some plastic, and these materials find themselves in the community. But we are not the only one doing that. There are a lot of other companies, but for us, we are not about blame gaming. We know there's a problem. Let's do something about it. But again, when we collect the solid waste, the post-consumer solid waste, it's not only our bottles we are collecting. You can see for yourselves. We're collecting materials, used by other companies. But for us, it's addressing a problem in the community. Irrespective of who does what, it's showing leadership. Taking the simple step to say there is a problem, let's address it. But further to that, we know that on our own, we cannot solve this problem. Zambia is too big for just one small company.
The Zambia Environmental Management Agency, ZEMA, Public Relations Manager Friday Piri acknowledges that the extended producer responsibility law has not worked as expected, but there's room for improvement.
From our end, we think we've done, it's a 50-50 kind of affair. We know that we've not done very well, but we've also not done very badly. So I think we are somewhere at 50%. And we promise, we assure the members of the public that more will be done this year so that we move to the next tier of implementation of this Extended Producer Responsibility Act. From our end, we believe the stakeholder, the making of laws is a stakeholder-driven process. Government does not just wake up and come up with a law one day without consulting the relevant stakeholders. So in this case, we hear the comments that are coming from stakeholders, and our appeal to them is please document whatever lapses you are noticing or whatever it is that you think should be amended in this law, and submit them to the ministry. And obviously the ministry will look at them, and if these are valid and good enough that an amendment can be moved, they are the policymakers. They will decide to say, okay, let this law be amended because stakeholders have demanded.
We spoke to Zambia's Minister of Green Economy and Environment, Collins Nzovu, to understand government's stance on plastic waste.
Plastic pollution is a scourge. Plastic pollution, by the way, has reached a crisis level in the world. It's a reason why at UNEA 5, United Nations Environmental Program, in which happened in Nairobi a few weeks ago, the assembly agreed to reduction in plastic pollution. So there was a resolution. Right now, experts are sitting to legalize this resolution. So every country will be required to reduce plastic pollution, because this is an agreement internationally. We subscribe to that because that crisis is here in Zambia, as you can see all around us. We need to go in that direction because that's the best direction to go. We really need to promote a circular economy here.
Well, failing to put in place the right measures on plastic management under the concept of 3 R's, reduce, reuse, and recycle, means preparing to fail to achieve Sustainable Development Goal number 13, which demands action on climate change. Kenya has the world's toughest ban on single-use plastic bags, which attracts huge fines or jail terms for using. But is it possible for Zambia to go this route?